Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I hope you were able to get here without too much traffic. I didn't, since I live over on the east side. Well, anyway, one thing I want to announce to you, the world is changing. Now, I'm sure in this group we know that. And we also, some of us who are organic farmers, know that it's changing fast. And what's important? Skills, crafts, knowledge to use tools. Because there isn't going to be a corporation standing around waiting to help you. I think by then they'll have thrown up their hands and given up because we all hate them for doing what they did to the environment. So, that's an editorial that isn't true, as you know. Anyway, so it's important that we learn things like that. Now, long ago, I gave up my electric can opener, and I know how to open a can without an electric can opener. I save a lot of electricity that way. Okay, I'm also an organic family farmer, as you know, and there's a couple other people in the group that are also doing farming. We have someone who does wonderful gardening, and it's that type of farming, and that's Senna, who knows how to grow beautiful flowers. Most of us are learning to do it without chemicals and all that kind of thing, and without using electrics and so on. So, today, we have two people who are going to be talking about something that is just perfect for what's happening to our world. And that is that they're going to share how we can form clusters, and clusters that form to go to other clusters of groups of people who know how to do certain things. People, based on people, community, and the joy of sharing what you know how to do with someone else, and also the willingness to learn from someone else. There'll always be someone there who can help you. So, you're going to enjoy this talk, I know, and I am so happy to introduce the two speakers. This is Vandana Pant and Christina Ariza, and they are from, believe it or not, the Palo Alto Medical Foundation, right in our backyard, right here with this wonderful concept. And I'd look at your handbill to know more about them, but I would like to introduce, and you're the first speaker, Vandana. Okay. Thank you so much.
Great. Good morning. Thank you, Andrea, for that introduction, and thanks for having us. This is Christina, my colleague. I'm Vandana. We're actually going to go into introductions and stuff a little bit later. I'm going to start you with watching a film. Oh, sorry, no. Let's do it from here.
Well, the TimeBank, it means new possibilities for me. I can give of myself and receive from others too.
A lot of people come and go, and this has now become an issue as I'm older. I was just thinking, my goodness, either they're dying or they're moving. And how do I meet people? And then when I realized that the whole idea was to help you be able to meet young and old people, that's what really interested me.
The reason I set up this particular exchange with the artwork is because I've had a box of my son's artwork sitting near my bed for years and never really put it up. I don't have any experience or knowledge about how to make a wall look really nice with art, so I needed some help.
I answered this exchange request because I had so much experience with art and hanging art and framing art over years and years, and I knew that I could help her hang the pictures and teach her some of the essentials so that she could do it on her own later.
The opportunity of getting together, the opportunity to exchange, and you can afford it. It's not something that you go home saying, well, this is great, but I can't afford it. Well, you put some work in there and you can afford it.
It's not about charity. It's about giving someone the gift of allowing them to give to you, because we all feel so good when we're giving. If you are nothing but a giver, there's an entire side of life that you've now closed yourself off to. I think that we should be as open and able to receive as we are to give. And we become better at giving when we're able to receive as well.
You cook a good meal and it's fine. You eat by yourself and it's fine. But if you share it with somebody, it's another feeling altogether. It's so important to contribute to any kind of society that we're living in, or else you just gotta like dry out. And I feel like that is one of the secrets of being happy, is to give of yourself. And without that, it's like life is like half-lived.
I was really kind of blown away. The time banking itself seemed like, wow, this is helping so many people. It seems like a small thing that once you get involved and invested in it, really can become incredibly powerful. I can't say enough good things about it. It's really been a wonderful influence in my life.
Great. So that is our program. And I'm just having some trouble because this is not working, but I'll just do it from here. This is what we're doing out in the community, and I think Andrea gave us a very fitting introduction. We're really rolling a program out in the community that says to folks, identify the stuff that you really love to do, find the things that you find easy to do, find some of the things that perhaps you might have some needs around or interests or skills that you want to share. And we've created a platform that allows people then to join as networks, community-based networks, and then get to know your neighbors, exchanging those services with each other. We're going to talk very quickly about why is PAM for Medical System doing a program that has nothing to do with medicine, and it's out in the community. We're going to tell you a little bit more, based on your questions, about what is time banking, how does it really work, how is it going to work in the Bay Area where we are. And Christina is going to spend some time taking you through some of the kinds of offers and requests that people have already posted on the Time Bank, the members that we already have, give you a bit of an idea of what that website looks like, and we'll open it up to questions and answers after that. So I'm sorry this is not working, so I'm having to come back here. But to tell you really quickly, 3 years ago, Palo Alto Medical Foundation founded an innovation center. And PAMF has always thought of itself as a partner in community health and as a forward-thinking organization that believes in innovating in unique ways. So the first thing we wanted to focus on through this innovation center was to say, let's find solutions that leverage technology, given that we're in Silicon Valley and that's a big thing, but also at the same time focus on improving community health across the community and not the stuff that happens in the clinic when you visit the doctor. So it's a prevention-based concept. And the solution that we are working on is right here, which a lot of us are very, very familiar with. What's basically happening in terms of a demographic, both globally and in the US, and this is important for all of our personal lives, but also important on a larger level in terms of utilization of healthcare costs, how much is Medicare going to be able to support, what happens as we move forward, is that a lot of us are getting older. And there's something that started with the baby boomers coming into their 65 plus years that started 2 years ago. And basically there's two key points. Somewhere in 2008, the population of folks over 65 was somewhere around 38 million. In 2030, it's going to more than double. It's going to hit 89 million. So the reason that becomes significant is for everything I just said. Is Medicare going to be able to support everybody? How are we going to deal with increasing medical care usage? How are we going to deal with the fact that as folks get older, all of us want to continue to live at home? In our own homes, and do we actually live in the middle of communities that will be able to support us in doing that? So we're a very fragmented society overall in this country. And part of the issue is, how do we then work together all of the stuff that you talked about? Your values, your mission is completely aligned with what we're saying. How can we leverage all the resources that exist within each other and within our communities and create a community safety net where we're growing together and living together in a healthy, happy way with good quality of life? So some people are questioning, never mind, these are just my jokes. But you know, we're getting older, so now they're saying that 60 is going to be the new 40. So some people are saying, okay, when am I going to be 30? We're all confused. Everybody's supposed to be younger and younger as we get older and not sure how that's working. But here's what's really happening, is most of us want to continue to live in our own homes and our own communities. This is a very key factor. I moved my mom from India to here 2 years ago. And we had to do it because she was starting to have short-term memory loss. She's a very independent woman, used to living her own life. This is not her ideal solution. And I feel particularly strongly about this. The ability for us as a community to support each other in our own homes, very important. How are we going to get to that? And I don't know that you can see the slides, but we conducted some research out in the community. We went and visited a lot of people. And we really wanted to find out what is the biggest barrier. And everybody talked about medical concerns, but they said, yes, we have the doctors to go to for that. Some people talked about real issues around not being able to find access to food or to transportation or to housing because they're at a certain economic level. And we realized that a lot of the nonprofit sector, social sector programs take care of that. But there was something we heard again and again from folks, which was around saying the biggest issue is that I feel isolated from my community. And I hear this from my mother every single day. I was vital, I was functioning, I was contributing. Now I'm retired. People don't even know I exist unless I have friends around me that were my friends, her friends. And so the social isolation and loneliness starts to become a big issue. We heard that over and over again. We spoke to about 50 seniors living in their lives in Palo Alto over the course of a year. Palo Alto, Mountain View, Los Altos, these areas. We did an ethnographic study. And the reason that becomes important is because nobody is paying attention to that piece of the puzzle, right? Everybody's focused on what happens when you're sick, or what happens in terms of very basic stuff and basic needs, but what's happening about quality of life, and what's happening on a daily basis while you're actually not that sick, but you're fine, you're living at home, you want to continue to do the things you used to like to do, you want to continue to reach out, you want to continue to meet new and different people, and what can we do to support that particular need? The reason we're focused on that is actually, at the end of it, very core scientific knowledge. And I'm linking back to your mission here, which says using science to pursue what we do in terms of offering solutions. So there's been many longitudinal studies that have been done, and to just quickly encapsulate, isolation and loneliness impact everything from dementia, depression, early loss in daily living skills, increased utilization of institutionalized care, and then increased utilization of actually medical care, and at the end of it, early mortality. So there's a reason to address those issues. The second key piece is, as we're all getting older, we're all becoming caregivers. And so there's a whole set of needs that emerges with caregivers. We're taking care of each other, our parents, our partners, our spouses, children, and with that comes a lot of stresses. So these are, again, I'm going back to the science, linking back to the fact that all of this is based on scientific knowledge and research from our perspective. Caregivers face a lot of health-related issues that come out of the stress of multiple demands and juggling their own lives and juggling, the lives of other people that they're taking care of. So what did we conclude? Why did PAMF decide there was something important that had to be done that actually we couldn't do in the clinic in the 15 minutes that people were coming in to see the doctor? We realized the way it had to happen was if we went out into the community and found some solutions that could exist in the community. And so we created, because we're using technology based in Silicon Valley, we created a system, a technology platform called linkAges. And I'm not going to tell you about the rest of the platform, because today we're focused on one component, which is TimeBank, which specifically focuses on the building and the creating of community and leveraging resources within each other and within the community to support us as we're trying to get older. And how do we really make, it's a utopian concept, but we love to be utopian with the work we do. How do we build a better world for all of us? So how do we do it? Somebody asked over here, how is this going to work? Are there many chapters across the Bay Area or one place? So Christina will tell you a little bit more about what happens on an individual level. But really, the crux of time banking is that people need to connect with people. We have a technology platform through which you find each other and through which you make matches based on your interests and your needs. Which could be a ride, it could be something like getting a cooking lesson. But how are we taking it out into the communities? By partnering with community organizations. So PAMF, remember, as you said yourself, is actually not a programming organization. All we're doing is we're creating this program, we're setting it out into the community, it's got to be a grassroots effort. So we're looking for community organizational partners. We've been working with everybody from the YMCA, the Alzheimer's Association, churches, neighborhood clubs, Rotaries, we're going to all kinds of people and saying, how do we spread the word? And then we do programs like this, like the one we're doing today. We talk to people about the work and what time banking is, and we encourage people to ask questions, to learn more, and to consider signing up, and to take it into your communities. Because how you could start it is you could sign up, and you could invite your neighbors to join, and the neighbors could invite their neighbors, or you could go to, if you have Rotary groups there, or parent-teacher associations that your kids are part of. That's how the whole thing will grow. It depends on how we use it. So this is the website that we created, called the linkAges Bay Area Time Bank. We launched it last year. We're a pilot program, just to give you a little bit of an idea. So linkAges overall is a pilot program. We're doing it over 4 years. And we're really trying to prove through this model that this kind of programming can happen, and that we can engage community and activate community, and that it can have some positive impact. So we're actually tracking evaluation stuff. And at the end of 4 years, we're going to look to see people who did sign up to become members, did their lives really shift and improve? At the end of 4 years, did they feel more socially connected with each other, or did they feel this was a meaningful experience or not? We're going to track that kind of stuff. And why time banking? So I want to just take a minute before Christina starts to explain. So time banking is not a new concept. I don't know, was anybody familiar with the concept before? Okay, great. So it's a national, actually an international concept. Time banking was started somewhere in the late 70s. There are actually more than 300 time banks now in the US, and about 40 something internationally. So time banks really basically mean people exchange services, and every time you do something for someone, they pay you back in terms of time. So if I spend 2 hours teaching somebody how to play the piano, that person will give me 2 hours, which kind of go into my account. And then if I want someone to come play Scrabble with my mom, I can use my 2 hours to give that to somebody in the network who's offered to do that. So that's how time banking really works. We're using it as an integral part of our linkages platform because we feel it has a huge potential to create connections and community. So we use technology so you find it easy to get in touch with folks, but then actually you have to get to know them because you have to do physical interactions with people. And that's, in Silicon Valley, that's become the big issue because everybody's on Facebook, and that's great that you can have 50-second conversations, but that doesn't really mean you're actually spending any time and getting to know anybody. So that's why we're using time banking. It allows, the other key thing is it's an equalizer. I'm just going to get to this. So, yeah, go ahead. Ask. No, that's fine. You can ask questions. Oh, microphone.
Like what you gave an example, like let's say to your mother, right? Yeah. Time sharing, is it one-to-one, like if it is I spend 2 hours with your mother,
yeah.
Am I expecting,
something
that again,
back from her?
No, so then it will be somebody else who can give me that 2 hours or something?
Exactly. That's a great question. So it's not a barter. It's not a one-on-one exchange, which is the other reason why we specifically chose time banking. So if somebody does something for you, you're not obligated to do something back for that person. This is a paid-forward system. So I could do something for you, and you could use those hours to have somebody else do something for you.
Only one catch, in these things. Still you have something, a spirit of giving.
Yes.
It is a spirit of, again, balancing. It's okay. But finally, till you motivate people to be in a mode of giving without expecting, then there is a catch which you must try to eliminate to bring people to a giving mode.
Yeah.
Here again it is like a marketing, I'm giving and I'm expecting. That expectation, till that expectation is there, I don't think you will be successful.
For which we'll rely on the good work of organizations such as the Humanist community, right? We want to spread that value that says I can both give and receive, and that recognize that it can add value to my life. So you're making a good point. But that's why we need to do that. All right, so and another key thing about the time bank is it helps to create intergenerational relationships. So we really want people across different ages to connect with each other. That's a key point for us. Right now in our time bank, we have about 150 members, of which 60%, no, how much, 30% or so are people over 60, and then actually there's a huge chunk of people that are 25 through 35. So it's actually creating a fantastic opportunity for people of different opportunities, ages to get together with each other and do different things. I'm going to run to Christina, who will take you through what sample of literature to use that.
Thank you. All right, I will try to speak loudly. So how does the TimeBank work? Someone asked about the mechanics. So that we have actually created a technology platform, a website, where you can come together and see each other and connect around offers and requests. So does everyone here use the internet? The majority? Wonderful. So this is our primary way of connecting with people. Now, those who are not comfortable, we know that those who are over the age of 80, some of them are not as comfortable using technology. So we find that on our TimeBank, we have 20s and 30-year-olds and 50s and 60-year-olds and a few 70-year-olds and just a very few 80-year-olds. So what we've done is to try to help combat or address that issue is that they can connect through people. So maybe through their synagogue or through their nonprofit, maybe one of the senior centers. There's an individual there who represents people who are not comfortable or not able to get on the internet, so they can really be on the site for them. But the majority of people are getting on themselves. So just to kind of give you an idea of how it works, people post offers and requests on the TimeBank. So you sign up, you can actually post like a little post like you would on Craigslist or Facebook, an offer, if you will, with a description. So these are some examples that we have in terms of offers. Someone's offering to help post on eBay. We have folks who don't know how to do that. So there's a few of us who post, including myself, who offer help to do postings on eBay and Craigslist. There's another woman who loves to bake cupcakes. They're very, very good. And so she says, hey, if you want me to make you some cupcakes, feel free to let me know, and I will make you a dozen or two and bring them over. And then we also have some sample requests here. This one's very popular. If you mend, you are extremely popular in the TimeBank. Lots of people looking for folks who can help do some basic mending. So this is a request that someone has for help to do mending. And then also we have some requests about gardening. We find that gardening and cooking are very popular. And we have some needs interests as well that was kind of mentioned here. Transportation, handyman. I heard some fix-it gentlemen around here. And maybe some ladies who can come into a house and do some fix-it. And then also errands. So folks who maybe aren't as mobile, they're asking, can you help maybe pick up some groceries for me, or maybe drop off some donations at the local Goodwill, maybe return my books to the library. I heard someone who really loves the library. So there's a lot of opportunities to help around basic needs as well. So some folks, when they come in, they say, I don't have a lot to offer. Fortunately, here, everyone has a lot to offer. But some folks have a hard time identifying what they can contribute. The reason that we really chose time banking as a platform is because everyone is seen as someone of value. Everyone's seen as someone who has skills. So we were hearing a lot from older adults that they were always feeling like they were just receiving, that they were beneficiaries, that they weren't perceived as someone who can give back. And the Time Bank really allows for that. I think you heard in the video and a couple of the older ladies saying, this is an opportunity for me to kind of go out there and help others as well. So there's lots of different categories here. These are all available on the Time Bank. This list does help people who are trying to figure out what they're good at and what they can contribute to be able to identify. Yes, I have a question in the back. Do we have the mic? Thank you. He's coming with the mic.
So this is kind of like TaskRabbit without money involved, but it's giving people value. One thing I see is really good is even if you can afford to have somebody do a little handyman task, a lot of them charge by the hour. And so if I can't get up on a ladder to change a light bulb, I'd have to pay $45 for somebody to do that, and it really takes 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's a great analogy. And so you're right. Those folks who really some of these basic, kind of needs that in the past a neighbor would come over and help you with, right? If you needed some help with gardening, you'd go and ask one of your neighbors. And we are trying to really promote community networks, community building, so that you can feel comfortable asking people who usually are in your neighborhood to come and help you do something like that around the home without having to pay someone. So this is just a preview of the website. When you do sign in, and I'll show you the process for registration, you will be able to create a personal profile. So this is what people will actually be able to see. The only identifier besides your name and your picture, if you choose to post one, in terms of a geographic identifier, is your city. So they don't have access to your address or phone number until you're willing to connect with them and make that, and either by email or by phone, chat and figure out and exchange that information. So they only see your city. And then you can write a short description. So some of you had some great descriptions as you were kind of sharing with us who you were. You know, I have on mine, I live in Mountain View. I just moved here, not too long ago. I live with my husband in Pooch, and I have my weaknesses are chocolate and Chick-fil-A or something like that on my profile. So you can actually post something pretty basic and to share with others about you. And then you can also see on the bottom here your service history. So when you do exchanges with people, you actually can see your credit in terms of hours. Now, the hours is just a way for people to figure out and in terms of time, for you to have something to give and something to receive. But for those, we do have some members who have higher needs than others. So we have a woman right now. She is moving out of her home. She's being displaced. She's on a fixed income. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a lot to give right now, but she's been asking for a lot of assistance. You can go into the negative with your hours through the time bank. So if you have a lot to get, a lot to receive, you can go in the negative. Other folks who are givers can actually donate their hours to you or to other members that have more needs. So that's another way for people to kind of give back and support each other as well. This is kind of a typical request when you see it on the time bank. You'll see a title, a description, and then you can respond by messaging, and you'll see the person's picture. And then when you record the exchange, so once the exchange is done, you'll want to record the number of hours that have been exchanged, and that will be credited or debited to one of the accounts. And so also we want to promote community. So part of that is this homepage where people can share events. So for example, if the Humanist group, if your group is having an event, you can actually post it and share it with everyone on the time bank. So it's another way to invite people in the public and the community to join you around an event that may be appealing to others. You can also see new members as well as they show up, so you can go ahead and greet them and say hello. If you have any announcements, so sometimes we are making changes to the features, we're having an event, we'll post announcements. And then the bottom there is called groups. We have private and public groups. So actually your group could create a public or private group that people could join and connect with each other around. If it's a private group, that means that you only see each other and you only see each other's offers and requests. So we have some groups who are interested in only doing private group time banking at this time. For example, one of the synagogues here in Los Altos, they really want to promote community building within their congregation. So they've created a private time bank group so they can see each other and connect with each other. They're rather large, 500 families. So it's they don't actually know everyone. So it's a way for them to connect with each other, and eventually they want to reach out to the broader community, but that's kind of their entry point. And then you can also join groups around some of the needs. So there's, right now you can go in and there's transportation, there's errands, there's handyman. If you are someone who is willing and able to offer that service, you can join the group. And then someone who's looking for that service can come to the group, post their request, and you'll get a notice, and then you can respond to them and see if you're able to help them with that request. Yes, we have a question right behind you.
I was wondering how, I was thinking about if I did something for someone and I did very well and we liked each other and all of that. But there could be an abuse there where that person directly contacts you because they now know you. Mm-hmm. So I was wondering if you always go through the time bank, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we encourage people to go through the time bank, although we leave it at the discretion of the member. So if you are more comfortable only coordinating exchanges through the time bank, then you would just kind of have them message you through the time bank. It's like an email type of service. So you can see there's a message bar, and it's just like your typical email. Then if you are more comfortable with them, and let's say you like the connection, you want to keep on chatting with them elsewhere, you can share your personal email and your phone number whenever you're ready.
One comment that I wanted to make is that people who need help on emails and that kind of thing. Libraries are very helpful to seniors, and they have large print and everything. They're very willing to help and get you started.
Thank you. That's very true. And I will actually share an event that we're having in May where it's called Tech Day for older adults for folks who maybe need some assistance. And then we do have some volunteers, some college students from out of Stanford, Foothills College, different various colleges that are interns with us who are willing to go out to your site and even to your home to help support and get you on as well. Do you have a question over here? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. What is the URL for this website?
Yes, the URL is timebank.linkages.org, and actually we'll be handing out some brochures here that actually explain the registration process and offer the URL and my contact information in case you'd like to call me afterwards if you have any questions. And for the interest of time, I'm sorry, I have a question over here.
Yeah, there is a local community groups called Nextdoor, which is gaining in popularity. Now, how can your organization actually merge with them such that you can make use of their
platform? Yep.
Their popularity?
That's a great question. We would actually love Nextdoor. I'm on it. Vandana's on it. We use it, and it has some similar features, and it helps you connect to your neighbors as well. They're a for-profit tech company, and they just started. Let's see, they're out of San Francisco. They're really growing across the U.S. We are hoping to have some conversations with them to see how we can connect and collaborate, because that would be ideal if we could figure out a way for us to even be a link on their site, for them to promote us to their members. That would be fantastic. That's great. You're right in line with what we're thinking. Okay, so signing up. So we are passing out right now a flyer with a brochure on how to sign up. It is a free service. There is no cost. One of the primary questions that we have from older adults is what measures are you taking to make sure that this is a secure site? In terms of privacy, you're asking me to meet with people. That can be a concern sometimes. So we do have a few precautionary measures or that we've kind of put into place. One of them is that we ask everyone to attend an on-site orientation. So this is considered very similar to an orientation. You all are now eligible to join. You don't have to attend a separate orientation. That's the one. And that way that in-person contact actually helps us connect with the person, make sure we kind of see what type of person they are. The second piece is that we ask everyone to go through a basic background check. Now, the company that we use is the same company that Palo Alto uses for all their new employees. So you'll actually fill out that information. We personally don't receive that background check information. We only receive the clearance. So once you fill it out the form online as you go through the registration process, then we get an email saying that person has cleared, and then you're then eligible to get into the time bank. And that really is, since we are really targeting older adults and family caregivers, which can be a vulnerable population, we really want to take some extra measures to ensure that people are as safe as we can in terms of our due diligence. So that's just to kind of give you an idea. When you do register, you will get 3 time bank hours. So that is kind of an opportunity for you to start connecting with people right away. And I think that is it for the presentation. I just wanted to mention one thing that I mentioned before. We do have a tech day for older adults coming up. I'd like to pass out a flyer. May 17th at the Los Altos Senior Center. You can sign up. It's a free event with lunch. And if you have any questions, if you'd like to sign up for the time bank, but even if you'd like to learn your smartphone better, your iPad, your computer, if you'd like to learn how to talk through Skype, Facebook, you can join us, and we will have volunteers on a 1-to-1 hour workshop with you to help you do whatever you need to do on technology. So Vandana is passing out the flyer, and do we have any other questions? Yes, I have a few up here.
I may have missed it, but is there a geographical, can you determine, and actually, one, can you set the geography you're interested in, and two, for example, I'm in a condominium complex. Is there any way of focusing it on literally a community like that, limiting it to a community like that?
Yes, you can. So that's a great question. Thank you. We have launched in Mountain View. We are expanding to really the Silicon Valley area. So, we're here, Los Altos, Palo Alto, Sunnyvale, Cupertino. We have members all the way up to Redwood City and all the way down to Saratoga. In terms of our efforts, we're a small team. Vonda and I are really the outreach team. So, we're not able to support so many organizations around the entire Bay Area. We're really limiting our rollout just to this kind of geographic area for now. And we do have organizations who are interested in bringing it to East Bay and North Bay, and so we're talking to them to see if they're willing to kind of promote it and be the hub, if you will. So that's one of the things that we're doing. It's focused here. It also is a benefit if we focus it to one geographic area, because it's going to be difficult for you to do an exchange with someone in San Francisco. So we kind of need a critical mass at certain locations before we're able to really launch it. And then the second question about kind of limiting it to a certain group. So the group function actually would help that. In terms of condominium, for example, if we had the residents interested, you could create a group, a public or private group, really focusing on that and encouraging people to join, and then you could connect with each other that way. That's one way. And then, of course, if you wanted to really promote and do to kind of do some recruiting within that condo complex, we could talk about maybe doing some additional efforts for that. We have some mobile home communities, for example, who are interested in kind of promoting within their community. It's a great community building tool. So, any other questions?
Yes. So when people make their requests, is there any place for them to indicate the importance of getting that job done? Mm-hmm. Like learning Japanese may not be as high priority as somebody giving them a ride, mm-hmm. To the hospital. So
that's a great question, and that's actually something we're really working on. Some of the needs-based that are time-sensitive, that actually becomes more the responsibility of, it's great if the members, when a new offer or request posts, they'll get an email, so they can respond right away depending on how time-sensitive it is. I also, and some of my colleagues, we're always kind of looking at the site and trying to make sure that those needs are met in a timely manner. So there's folks, because I usually speak with most of the people who sign up, if I see something that's time sensitive and I know of other members who are willing to do rides but maybe didn't see it in time, I can contact them and try to make the connection and help spur that exchange.
Okay, mm-hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see before signing in what are the groups, what are the services offered, the interests to learn something before I decide to sign in?
Sure. So let's see. It's a little bit difficult. We have of the 150 members that we have so far, we've had 375 hours of exchanges done. They've really been very diverse. It's all different categories. So we've had people who are artists who get on and do portraits, to transportation, to travel. But I definitely, in terms of, maybe we can connect afterwards and I can share more with you, or I can actually send you maybe some previews or screenshots of some of the offers and requests, if that might be helpful to you. Go ahead.
I was going to say that you can get on timebank.linkages.org and get a brief preview. So at the bottom end of that page, there are some of the current listings that are listed there, but we deliberately don't let people get into the rest of the site, because then that sort of violates the privacy of the members.
I have one suggestion. You see, in every community you will find, like balancing that time in, time out, or there you will always find people who are givers, natural. Mm-hmm. So to them you could give some laurel, like some title, mm-hmm. generous, or some other title by which in the society for them to gain some recognition or some pat on the back. Right?
Great idea.
Yeah. I love that idea. Great idea. We've actually talked about eventually making it so that depending on how many exchanges you've done, you do maybe get a title or whatnot to recognize you. Mm-hmm.
So we could set up such a thing for the humanist community?
Yes, absolutely. So we can definitely work with you to create a private group, or public or private, whatever you want, and it'll be visible. If it's public, it'll be visible to everyone. They can join. If it's private, you'll have some of your team of volunteers will then accept people when they request to join, and that can be your way to do offers and requests with each other, to post announcements, it's kind of also a chat forum. You can write back and forth to each other. So definitely, that's sounds great. Something to do. Mm-hmm. something that we can do for sure. And it looks like I have a question in the back there.
Judging by where we are, we're probably going to need another 5. You can have another 5 minutes. So.
Hi. I think it sounds like a great concept, but I'm wondering, what do you see as the most important ways in which it differs from the Senior Center of Avenidas, which has a program called, I think it's the Villages.
The Village, right.
I know it's expensive. It's not free. So I know that's one big way. But as far as services and other ways, what are the major differences?
So we've actually been, and we're now starting to talk to the villages at Berkeley as well. So just for those of you that don't know, the villages are communities that are created within different cities, and people get together. But you're right, it's a fee-based thing. So people who are living in the community can sign up. They pay an annual fee. And what that gives them access to is a series of vendors. It's typically you get services and vendors that sign up onto that list, and you can get sometimes discounted fares, etc. So we see actually the linkages platform and the TimeBank as complementing what the villages do. So in addition to getting paid services and getting the benefits of the paid sponsor, the paid membership of the villages, this is kind of like a web-based platform that actually the villages could use to create villages groups. And then you actually have the chance to get to know more people that are members in the villages as friendly neighborhood kind of exchanges, and also then use the other aspects of the linkages system which will step in. So we see that as working together and not actually taking away from each other.
Any other questions?
Hi, I live in San Jose, and I was wondering if you expect or have a time frame that maybe this will be available there.
We're certainly open to being in San Jose. We're actually actively looking to find a partner organization in San Jose that will give us a little bit more of their staff time and the benefit of their location to take it there. Because as Christina mentioned, it's just the two of us. So we're trying to find now partner organizations in other cities where we can go do the initial orientations, and then the platform is there. But it's important to have at least one person dedicated to supporting the growth of the network and to connecting the members. So if you know of organizations that might have an interest, please let us know.
Yeah, Jerry Grass. Because people are providing services for which they might be able to charge money, what does the IRS have to say about this?
That's also a great question. It's an old time banking question. What we really try and do is we encourage people to not put up offers for doing things that they would typically take money for, because then we start going into sort of murky grounds around that. As a time bank, because it's not an organization, we don't take responsibility for that. But we do have it in our terms and conditions, and we encourage folks to say, so let's say if you're a lawyer, we would encourage you to not offer your services as an attorney on the time bank, because it also then becomes kind of, if you're doing it consistently, it might become a way to start advertising your services too. So we try and encourage people to not do that. And so far, historically, since the 70s, I believe the IRS has not regarded, because it's not professional services mostly, it's neighborly kind of exchanges, so the IRS has sort of not been looking at the time banks. That's my understanding.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Another organization that could probably cause trouble for time banking in general, I think, would be liability and trial lawyers, and what happens if something goes wrong or somebody says that somebody else messed something up. You are dealing with an elder community, so it seems like those problems would only be amplified.
Yes, that's a great question. And you're in fact right. So our first hurdle was actually the PAMF liability, folks. It's a big concern. And in order to address those concerns, so we worked a lot with the legal department at the Palo Alto Medical Foundation, because we were exactly what you said. They were very concerned about people suing and liability. So the thing we spoke about, two things. One, the background check is one thing that we've introduced to say, we're trying to ensure some security. The second piece of it is when you read the terms and conditions before you sign on to become a member, we really emphasize that this is a neighborhood network run by people. And what you're doing is neighborly service exchanges, and you kind of agree to that, and we leave it at that level. So we're actually not saying we're accepting liability, because this is not technically our program. It's a program literally of the community, by the community, for the community, I guess. So that's how we're trying to address that piece of it.
Yeah, hi. I was just wondering, so does PAMF pay you guys to work on this, and was it as a result of a grant that they received, or are they just paying for it out of their own funds, and have they committed to continue paying it?
Okay, and I touched upon that briefly at the beginning, but so PAMF actually founded an innovation center 3 years ago. It's funded almost 60% operationally by our community benefit department. And that's how we started the program. We're doing it because the Innovation Center is focused on community health solutions as opposed to clinic care. So yes, and we are currently paid, luckily. Yeah.
So I just looked on the website and noticed that our summary of this talk doesn't have your URL, your webpage on it. So note program committee. Can we always try and remember to get that on the summary where there is one? And anyway, so I can add that just for the audience if you're okay with that. I'm sure you are.
Please,
I'll add that to the website, and I assume any slides you had we can put up there. So if people don't have a pen and haven't written down the URL, we'll at least have that on the website.
Okay, I think you're almost at lunchtime, right? I don't want to take away from your lunch.
Sorry, it's not quite ready yet, so I think we've got time
Okay, so
for
we have
another.
a few moments. There's a... Here you go.
Have you noticed a pattern of giving and taking? For example, like certain people give a lot, certain people take a lot, certain people don't give, and certain people don't take.
We have, I think Christina can speak better to that. She's tracking it.
Sure, no, that's a great question. The question is, have you noticed, people who tend to give or take? We tend to have 3 different types of folks who join the Time Bank. The younger generations, 20s and 30s, seem to be interested in alternative economy, the sharing economy, and that's really one of their motivations for joining. We find that they give and receive about equally. And then we have folks who usually are a little bit on the older side, who either are interested in paying it forward, giving back. They have time that they're wanting to help their community and support their community and use that time with. So we have the givers, and then we have folks who have some needs right now, who are joining to find people to help support them with needs. So maybe they have a family member who just found out they have cancer, and they have spent a lot of time dealing with that issue, so they're helping, looking for family to help with transportation, maybe with errands. We found that for the most part, though, because of how the Time Bank works of giving and receiving, and there is that culture that's created there, that we don't have any folks who abuse the system at this point. Everyone tends to give and receive as much as they can, and some people naturally give more and don't like to receive, and some people, because of their situations, are receiving more but plan to give when they can. So they're looking for opportunities and ways to do that. The one woman I mentioned to before that's kind of receiving a lot right now, she is trying to find creative ways to give back with her current circumstances. So she's come in and helped us actually make some of our information folders and packets to give out. Other nonprofits who need some maybe volunteer hours, they can actually ask TimeBank members to help them do maybe packets or make printouts or things like that. So that's also very helpful for the organizations who are looking, like nonprofits looking for support. So there are some ways to give back that we create opportunities. The things are very helpful to us where folks are able to give that maybe don't have that necessarily time or skills at this point in their circumstance. So I hope that answers your question.
So following up on that then, if you may have a situation of somebody who's sick who just needs to be a receiver, you may have somebody who likes to give and has given a lot, so they've got a few tens of hours in their bank, and there's somebody there who's obviously got a few hours, tens of hours of debt, and they want to basically donate their hours and cancel the debt. Can you do that?
Absolutely. So a member can donate to a specific member that they know of. Maybe they met him at an event and they found that they had certain needs. If you can absolutely donate your hours, you can also donate your hours to a community fund, and when people come to us, then we can try to distribute some of those hours to those people as well.
So I just want to point out, here's the good news. This this is anybody's time bank, right? We're just launching it. We literally have just created the platform, and it's up to you. You can use it how you want to use it. You can grow it how you want to grow it. And if people want to make changes or we get suggestions like this, we're listening, because this is a community program. And so we actually have an advisory council that meets once every quarter that consists of some of the members of the time bank plus some participating organizations, and we're constantly responsive and receptive. And if people are telling us they'd like to see things done differently, we listen. That's how the community fund was actually created, because a lot of people asked that question, and we said that makes complete sense. We should have that made possible, and so we're doing that all the time.
Thank you so much for your time. We so appreciate being here.